Hiawatha Bray here, and I can't help noticing that now that it's warm, you start seeing people lounging around on the steps of the public library, even in the evening time, and I finally figured out why. They're picking up on the free Wi-Fi. It's a quick way to get online without burning up your data minutes, and it's becoming a pretty commonplace thing for people to do. Free Wi-Fi nowadays is darn near everywhere, but people get tired of your sitting all day in the Starbucks or the McDonald's and soaking up theirs. So we thought we'd give you a couple of other possible options. For instance, the city of Boston is starting to roll out a whole mess of free Wi-Fi hotspots at locations all over town. You'll find a lot of them, particularly near major public parks. Here's an online map where you can find them, but I have to tell you that when I went hunting around for them, this map was of limited value. It told you roughly where to go to find these Wi-Fi hotspots, but then you had to wander around until you got a good wireless connection. One of the big problems with Wi-Fi is that it's got such limited range, only about 300 feet. So one of these hotspots has to be fairly close before you really get a good signal. Here's another alternative that isn't quite free, but kind of free. You can use wireless Comcast internet service all over town, in fact, all over large chunks of the country. And if you're already paying for cable and internet through Comcast, you're entitled to use them at no extra charge. Here's an app that you can get that will give you directions to where the nearest one is located. You just fire this up, and here you get a map. It homes in on my current location, and it will show all the areas nearby where there's a Comcast Wi-Fi hotspot available. The red areas indicate that you're just barely within range. That, by the way, is a bit of a problem, because if you aren't very close to the router, you may be just close enough for your phone or tablet to pick it up, but not close enough to get a good data signal, and so you might find things locking up. However, if you're right on top of it, and with this map you can find out its exact location, you're going to get pretty decent broadband service through these Wi-Fi hotspots, and they're appearing in more and more places, partly because Comcast is putting the routers right in their customers' homes. If you get a router from Comcast, it'll broadcast two signals, one for you to use and one for everybody else to use. Now suppose you aren't a Comcast subscriber. Well, in that case, you can get onto this same network for $2.95 per hour, or about $8 to log on for an entire day. One important thing to remember about going out in the world and using a Wi-Fi hotspot: unless it's your hotspot and you know it's secure, you can never be completely confident that somebody hasn't hacked it. In fact, people set up fake hotspots that look like the real thing just so that unwary users will log on to them. One thing you could do is use a piece of software called a virtual private network. These really do a good job of securing your data, but they make the internet connection go a lot slower. If you really want speed, the better solution is to simply be extremely careful about what you do on a public Wi-Fi network. Use it for maybe checking your email or reading the latest news headlines or getting the weather. But don't be in a hurry to go opening your bank account or buying stuff on Amazon. Still, sometimes all you do want to do is check your email or read the news. And it's nice to know that there are places all over the country these days where you can do it without having to pay a dime. From the Tech Lab, this is Hiawatha Bray.